And today, one of these young men will become part of it. John Tavares, touted as the #1 pick for over 4 years now. Or will it be Victor Hedman, a giant, gifted Swedish defenseman from the hockey factory of Örnsköldsvik? And the latecomer to this race, Haliburton, Ontario's multi-talented center, Matt Duchene. We expect one of them will go #1 in the 2009 NHL entry draft on TSN now.
They are the chosen ones, the pinnacle of a lifelong ambition, united by an unrelenting passion to be the best.
Scores! John Tavares' first OHL goal.
A hockey phenom destined for greatness.
To do something that you care about and you have such a passion for, I think there's no better feeling.
A fleet-footed defenseman poised for the big stage.
The teams that picks me are going to show them right away that I'm their man and that I'm ready to play.
A tenacious sniper, hoping to be the next one.
I worked really hard towards it, made a lot of sacrifices, gave up a lot of stuff that kids never gave up, and it's paid off.
Scores! Tavares again!
You know, one player every year is selected #1 overall, and obviously if I get to be part of that class, I'll be very honored.
Obviously, #1 is the highest pick, and if the Islanders want me, they should take me.
It doesn't matter what position I'm drafted in, I'm happy with what I was able to do.
That's my ultimate goal at the end of the day is to win and be a champion.
I do whatever it takes to win, and I always play for my team.
When a tough gets going, I think that's when I'm able to bring my best games and do what I do best out there. I mean, that's what you play for, and that's what I've dreamed about my whole life.
This young man is exceptional.
I think I can jump into NHL next year.
I'm ready for it. I'm ready for the challenge to take that next step.
Tonight, dreams will be realized, and a journey begins.
To be able to be picked in a draft is a dream come true.
That'll be unbelievable, and I think about that moment a lot.
Tavares scores!
You know, I want to do great things, and I want to be the best player I can be, and I even want to be the best player ever.
Islanders general manager Garth Snow has kept the hockey world guessing for more than 2 months now who he will take #1 overall. Among those guessing, Tampa Bay's ownership, including Orrin Koulis, because they will pick second, and the belief is they want Victor Hedman in that spot. The Toronto Brain Trust was here a full hour before anyone else as Brian Burke desperately tries to shake his franchise up. Meanwhile, Lou Lamoriello and the Devils, they'll be waiting a while. They picked 23rd right after the Vancouver Canucks. Steve Tambellini, Kevin Lowe and the Oilers, they have the 10th pick, part of a cluster of Canadian teams in the top 10 this year. And yes, it's business as usual right now for the Phoenix Coyotes. Don Maloney chatting with Calgary's Daryl Sutter. The Flames are at #20. And there's Ottawa's GM Brian Murray, the #9 pick, and a superstar in Danny Heatley. He is trying to deal. Will it happen tonight in Montreal? The fans started arriving here at noon, 7 hours ago. Hey, it's Montreal and it's hockey. What do you expect? Yes, Islander fans here as well, awaiting who they will take. No, I don't think you'll get John Tavares, Rangers fans, as we bring you inside a packed Bell Center in Montreal. You know, the players usually make the moves right here on the ice, the floor, but the GMs are now playing their own game, wheeling and dealing, trying to move up, possibly down, and right now it is the New York Islanders who are in control. We'll find out who they take first in just a few minutes from now. As we say, hello Canada and everybody watching in the U.S. on Versus, welcome to the 2009 NHL entry draft here on TSN. James Duthie with you. Over the past few years, we have seen some unbelievable generational talent picked first overall. Guys like Ovechkin and Crosby and Kane. But there was one thing those drafts lacked, and that was drama. We knew those guys were going #1. This year, we have no idea. We'll find out in just a few minutes. As we wonder who goes #1, we also wonder who goes where as far as established players. All sorts of trade talk, and let's get to the latest right now with our Darren Drager.
All right, James, well, no shortage of building drama here inside the Bell Center, and why not kick off the 2009 NHL entry draft with a splash? Two sources telling me here on the draft floor at the Bell Center that the Anaheim Ducks have traded veteran defenseman Chris Pronger to the Philadelphia Flyers. So we'll confirm that. We'll get to the Philadelphia Flyers, and we'll get to the Anaheim Ducks very shortly. But what about the trade that wasn't, and that involved the Boston Bruins and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, the Toronto Maple Leafs thought they had a deal in place sending Thomas Kaberle to the Boston Bruins in exchange for Phil Kessel and a draft pick. The problem is there was a miscommunication there. The Boston Bruins thought that they were getting the 7th pick overall in this entry draft as well, so the deal clearly fell apart when the lines of communication were straightened out. Brian Burke, general manager for the Toronto Maple Leafs, is wearing a mic here inside the entry draft for TSN, and we caught him talking about the deal that wasn't a short while ago.
Well, we might do a deal with Boston. I can't really think, but I got nothing on the pick.
No.
If he's moving that pick, it's not to us. And I went back at him again. I think he's going to pick myself.
And James, an update. I just spoke with Brian Murray, the general manager for the Ottawa Senators, a short while ago. I asked him about the potential of dealing Danny Heatley at any point tonight, and he said, Darren, so far, it's dead. There's not a lot of activity around Danny Heatley. James?
All right, fascinating stuff. We'll keep an eye on all of that, Darren. And, you know, sometimes players get told weeks before the draft they're going number 1. Sometimes it's perhaps a couple of days before they get the handshake, or maybe it's a nudge, nudge, wink, wink the morning of the draft from a general manager. But the 3 players who are figured to perhaps go number 1 this year, they have no idea whatsoever. They're all right now with our Ryan Rishaug. Ryan?
Yeah, thank you very much, James. 1, 2, 3 in no particular order. We won't go there just yet. We'll have to wait to find that out. John Tavares, Victor Hedman, and Matt Duchene. Matt, I'll start with you. You've been in the spotlight a little bit less than these guys over the last few years. It's really only been 3 or 4 months for you. Do you feel maybe a little less pressure than these two do you think, today?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I don't feel too much pressure, just a bit of nerves. So, yeah, there's no pressure, I guess.
Victor, I wanted to ask you, quite often heading into these drafts, we know who the number 1 pick is going to be. We have no idea. Garth Snow has not tipped his hand at all. Is it a little more agonizing for you guys not knowing who number 1 is going to be?
I don't think so. I mean, we're just happy to become a member in the NHL team. So I think we speak for all 3 of us. We just want to become an NHL player. So it doesn't matter which team we're going to.
John, I know you've been dreaming about this for a long time. You've been in the spotlight longer than anybody. You're here now. It's about to happen. What's the prominent emotion you feel right now?
Well, I think I've always been a pretty calm guy under pressure situations, and you know, it's the most pressure I felt, and anxiety or excitement than any other time other than put on my skates. So, you know, it's gonna be a great night, and we're getting close, so it's definitely exciting.
The media, 29 other general managers, we've all been chasing our tails trying to figure out who's going. Do any of you guys know? No one? Okay, guys, the mystery continues. Gord, back up to you.
All right, thanks very much. Gord Miller here with Bob McKenzie and Pierre Maguire. There are a lot of interested observers here in Montreal, and there are several thousand more in Uniondale, Long Island, where the Islanders are having a rather large draft party this evening, and it is packed at the Coliseum, which is always great to see. The question is, how will they respond when the Islanders make their first pick? Will it be like the Jets back in '83 when they took Ken O'Brien instead of Dan Marino and they erupted in boos? I'm going to ask you guys the question. Who are the Islanders taking first overall?
I don't know who they're taking, but I know who they should take. They should take John Tavares. You just saw that massive crowd down in Long Island. If you get John Tavares there, you'll get more crowds like that all the time for your hockey team, not just a draft.
Guys, it's not very often I admit this. I don't know. I have no idea. Who should they take? Hey, listen, there's not a bad hockey decision to be made amongst any of those 3 guys. Absolutely, you can rationalize it. There's all sorts of anecdotal evidence that it could be Tavares based on that kind of draft party they're having. There's anecdotal evidence that when Charles Wang and Garth Snow were at a game in Brampton, they kept on saying, there's our guy, that's our guy, Matt Duchene. There's all sorts of anecdotal evidence that they want a franchise building block like Denny Potvin with the New York Islanders, and it's Victor Hedman. We're all guessing.
You know what? It's the first time in a long time that there's no clear-cut number 1. There are 3 great players available, and we've got to wait to find out, which is great. James?
And that's probably the bottom line to remember, is that none of the 3 teams will lose when they lose out on these guys. 3 terrific talents at the top. What Garth Snow has done, unbelievable, considering in this age with leaks and text messages, usually something will sneak out. It has not. John Tavares will find out right after this.
Alexander Ovechkin.